Maps tell stories. Not just about places, but about how humans saw the world. In the beginning, people drew maps on cave walls. These early maps showed rivers, hunting areas, or stars. They weren't perfect, but they helped people survive. Later, in ancient Babylon, people carved maps on clay tablets. The Babylonian world map is one of the oldest we know. It showed their view of the world, a flat circle with their city in the center. Around them were other lands and seas. Everything important was close to Babylon. Other maps showed roads, towns, and even mountains. The Babylonians didn't have Google Maps, so they had to do the hard work themselves. They sent out teams to measure distances and angles. They used sticks and ropes to map out the roads. For the mountains, they looked up to the stars. They used constellations to figure out where the mountains were. This way they made the first topographic map. Their idea of the world was simple, a flat circle. It's different from ours today. But they were great surveyors. They even used geometry to calculate the area of the Earth. They knew the Earth was round. They saw ships sailing over the horizon. They also saw shadows during an eclipse. All this helped them understand the shape of our planet. Then came the Greeks. Thinkers like Anaximander and Ptolemy used math to shape geography. They gave us longitude and latitude, the coordinates that tell us where anything is on Earth. They showed people how to use math to find their way around the world. In the Middle Ages, many maps in Europe showed religious views, not real locations. Jerusalem was often in the center. These maps were more about belief than accuracy. But in the Islamic world and in China, maps were becoming more scientific. They measured land and stars with care. They valued knowledge. The Chinese mapmaker Pei Xiu was a pioneer. He set up a school to teach mapmaking. His students spread his knowledge across Asia. Back then, paper was new, so he taught people how to make high-quality paper for maps. He also created a grid to help mapmakers draw more accurate lines. His students went on expeditions to collect information for maps. They gathered data on mountains, rivers, and borders. They used all these methods and more. Knowledge traveled along with merchants, pilgrims, and soldiers. As Marco Polo explored the world, he collected information for maps. He described cities, cultures, and landscapes. But it wasn't easy being a mapmaker back then. You had to gather information from many sources. Sometimes they disagreed. How could you be sure which one was right? And when the tools were simple, making a map was slow and hard work. A single map might take years to finish. Then came the age of exploration. Sailors and explorers like Columbus and Magellan needed maps that were better. So cartographers, mapmakers, used reports, tools like the compass, and trial and error to make detailed maps. Printing helped too. In the 1500s, people like Mercator printed maps that helped sailors navigate the oceans. His projection, the Mercator map, is still used in classrooms today, even if it distorts size. Imagine you're a sailor on a long journey. You need to know what's ahead and what's near. That's why Mercator's map was a big deal. He arranged the world in a way that was easy to read. Then came the age of exploration. Explorers like Ferdinand Magellan wanted to chart the world's oceans. They needed tools for their journeys. Maps became more precise. They used things like the compass and the astrolabe to help them sail. They learned about winds and currents. They also explored coastlines and discovered new lands. They brought back information that made maps more accurate. This information wasn't just about where places are. It was also about how to get there. As trade grew, maps became more detailed. They showed not just countries and oceans, but also roads and cities. They helped merchants find the best routes to sell their goods. This way, maps turned into powerful tools for travelers, traders, and rulers. Then came the 20th century. Aerial photography and satellites changed everything. We could now see the Earth from above. We had photos of clouds, cities, and even roads. We could watch changes on the Earth, like how cities grew or how the environment shifted. Soon after, GPS made maps even more useful. Suddenly, we had maps in our pockets. Today, digital maps are everywhere. We use apps to find the fastest route or the closest coffee shop. We can explore any place in the world with a few taps. These apps use satellite images, GPS, and a lot of data. They can show us things like traffic, weather, and how busy a place is. We can even add our own places and share them with friends. But behind the screen is a long history of drawing, measuring, and dreaming. Maps are more than just directions. They are memory, power, and imagination. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey through history, please support us with a like, a comment, and a share. Subscribe to join our family. We're here to learn, grow, and explore together. One tap from you helps us keep going.